Hey guys, it's another episode of Talking Real with Real Teams. And today we're going to set off all of your devices because we're talking to Serri today. And she is with the brand team in California. And we have something very special for you because we're going to talk about that moment in your team where you have to have the talk. Almost like when you have the talk with your children, we're going to have the talk about how we transition our team. And so we're going to have a little bit of an origin story, and then we're going to talk about how we had the talk. So that for those
Talk.
of you that are thinking about having the talk with your team, you're going to have a really good insight today. So, Serri, tell us a
Yes.
story.
All right. Thanks, JP. Do you want me to kind of just give a brief little overview of
Yeah,
like
do a quick
me? I know
overview,
just
how
a
you
quick
ended up in
little.
California, like how'd you get into
Okay.
real estate, and then transitioning from solo agent to team lead, and then
Yeah,
from indie brokerage to then over to real.
got it. Okay. My story is I basically got into real estate land, so lending. I started in lending when I was in my early mid 20s. And what I did was I decided that I needed to have more flexibility, right? Because we have so much flexibility as real estate
Yeah.
agents,
Oh yeah.
right? Because I have several kids, so I have five kids, but at the time I had three kids in my 20s, and I was like, I need to have more flexibility, so I got into real estate. So I started in lending, which is pretty cool because I do have a good background in all of that stuff. Transitioned over into real estate and basically stayed at the same company for almost 16 years. So I started at Keller Williams, was there for maybe a brief moment, went over to Realty Executives, and pretty much just hunkered down and stayed there. I never really like used anything that they had. I just kind of like I was a do-it-yourselfer. Never really had mentors, to be honest. I never had coaching or anything like that. I just went out and self-learned and studied and did it, right? So I did that for about 16 years until I got completely burnt out. And I was like, I can't go show another home to a buyer. Like, this is going to resonate with people
Yeah.
because it happens. And I got to a point where I was averaging at least 50-ish transactions a year easily with no assistant. I had a TC that would basically just push kind of the broker files through and stuff like that. She was great, but like I did a lot of the work and I was just exhausted. And so, anyways, what I did is what most people kind of they go, well, what's the next step? And the next step for me was to either go sell products on eBay because I literally was like, I don't know what else I'm going to do with my life, right? Like I can't sell another house,
Yeah.
or go get my broker's license and do something with that. Like I thought that was the answer, right? So I got my broker's license and I basically kind of stumbled into this happening, but I started a team because my business is highly leveraged off of referral partners. So I was the first partner agent for Redfin here in San Diego. I'm one of the very few that work with Rocket Homes. I don't, there was others, but like I was really built for referral partner programs. So I had leads, right, that I could feed to other people. So organically, because I had a need for I had so much stuff coming at me and I couldn't say no and I was exhausted, I started building a team. So that was 5 years ago. So that was 5 years ago that I started to build a team as the broker, as the indie brokerage. I was the broker. That's what I did. Guess what? I don't like being a broker. Like, I don't like having that responsibility and getting on the phone with, attorneys and all that stuff. Like, I'm still deep down a real estate agent that likes to talk to people and, sell a product and stuff like that. Right. So that's kind of the down and dirty on me. Over the last 5 years, I mean, the team dynamic, even the name itself has changed probably three or four times. So, like you said, our name is the brand. We're the brand Realty, and we are now brokered by Real. So, my story is about a year ago, we joined Real, And when we joined Real, I had reached a pain point of growth. It was like we were kind of, you're going to hear this from a lot of like indies, like we're on a little island, right? Like we were just this little group on an island in our area, and it's hard to grow off of that. Typically, it really is, unless you have more support. And so when I heard about Real, and a friend of mine, Eric Hatch, who took his independent over, I got on the phone and talked to him about it and was like, okay, well, what's going on? You know, what are you doing? We were at a team of about, with our admin staff and everything, we were about 35 at that point. And for me, it was literally a no-brainer for us to take that broker responsibility off of me and to also just honestly give back to our agents more and to be able to have more opportunity, just to kind of get us off that island, right? To be around more people, just to have more buzz and more energy, and to have them have stuff like stock options if they want it, to have them have opportunity for revenue that's going to hold over with them, honestly, even now after they aren't here anymore, right? Like for their kids, like
Yeah.
you can't, it's hard to do that stuff as an independent and set all that stuff. My E&O in itself was so expensive at that point. It literally was a no-brainer for me when I started doing all the numbers with stuff. And so we've gone from, with, like I said, staff and everything, we've gone in the last year from 35 to I think we're over 90 now.
That's amazing.
And right. So my problems at that time, we always have issues, right? Like I can tell you there's things now that we're still trying to figure out, but those got solved by joining and, finding a company like Real. I did not anticipate how great it would actually be, though, when it came to like the culture and the community and all that stuff that we've received on top of it. It's been mind blowing for us. The last year has probably been my most exciting year in real estate that I've ever had in my 20 plus years, for real. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's super exciting when you're a part of something that's constantly growing and constantly being, okay, here's the next cool thing.
Yeah.
Every time I see Pritesh getting ready to post something about some new techie thing he wants to do with the Real app, and I was like, I told my guy that runs our CRM, I'm like, hey, you want an API to play with? He's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yes, send it to
Yes.
me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just awesome because we never got, even at my previous brokerage, we never got that kind of collaboration. I mean, it was
Yeah.
just like I never had felt that I made a wrong decision when I came over to Real. So we've been with Real for just a little over a year. So a year and 4 months now.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, it's been a roller coaster ride, but it's been a lot of fun. And I just love the fact that there's always an update. There's always somebody's telling you like, hey, here's what's coming. We're always trying to play around with different ideas. And
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to do the virtual summit here that we're going to be having here in about a week, and just really excited about just all this kind of stuff. And our new president is just a fireball. He's just always like getting super excited. And then when I hear him talk, I get super excited. And
Yeah.
so I think, if you're listening to this and you're kind of like, I'm not excited where I'm at, and I'm not fired up, and we're not innovating, and it's really, slow to act. It's you need to reach out. That's what you need to do. So if you're listening to this right now and you're just like, yes, that is what I want, reach out to Siri and say, hey Siri, this is what I want, and then she'll just provide that for you because that's what technology does.
Yeah.
So, and because we are such a technology focused, I don't know if you knew this, but Real was actually Real Technologies before we became Real Broker. So
Hmm.
we're actually founded on the idea of real estate technology. And they have just really kind of just continued that mantra as like, as we continue to move forward, and it doesn't matter whether we like it or not, technology is going to take over our lives. So let's why not align yourself with a company that is like, yeah, duh. Like we're here for that. and we're going to be
Right.
part of the innovation. We're not going to just stand by and let someone else do all the work. We're going to be, at the forefront of what's going on. And, one of the things that Real has to offer too is this idea of the perfect contract. Hey, if we set a contract date in stone today, we're going to be able to, with the technology that we have, is to guarantee that close date, which there is not a single real estate company out there that I'm aware of that has been able to make that statement and say, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Which is really exciting. Okay. So
Yeah.
I want to talk about that magical moment, when you went indie and then you presented this idea of Real to your agents, because this is where I think a lot of indie brokerages and teams struggle, because they're like, in their own mind, they're having this, telling themselves the same conversations. Like, I don't want to have to build one more system. I don't want to have to try to make one more phone call and partner with one more vendor. I don't want to have to shop CRMs and figure out which CRM we're going to use. And I'm over it. But the agents, we don't have these regular conversations that we have in our heads all the time with our agents, because they're like, we don't want to bog them down with all that stuff. They don't care about that. They just want to know that there's a place to show up, there's someone to call when I have a problem, and that's it. So take us back to that moment, or the 30 days or however long it was, kind of when you decided to make the decision, and then when you were going to present it to your agents. And then I want to talk about the dynamics of kind of working things out, and then
What happened?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, no, this is good. So, like I said, at the time we were a team. So, agent wise, I want to say we were maybe around 25, let's just say 25 agents. And when I decided that we were going to go over to Real, first of all, I recruited my top agents, so my cheerleading agents, right? Because every team's going to have a couple of those agents that are just, they believe in you, they'll
Yeah.
follow you wherever you go, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we grabbed a couple of our top agents and we started to loop them into the meetings that we were having so that they could start to take a look at what was going on. And we got the buy-in from those agents.
Oh,
And
nice.
then from there, yeah, so from there, they started talking to a couple of the other level of agents, right? And so I'd say this process honestly took maybe about, I don't know, 30 to 60 days or something like that. I can't totally remember from the time that I said, yeah, we're doing it, to big announcement, we're making the move. Um, we did it in a way where we needed to make sure that it wasn't starting to trickle down to agents and you were having the wrong information leak out and stuff like that. But we did, by the time that we launched the information to everybody, have at least a good, 5 to 6 agents that had a buy-in and knew what was going on. And so they were able to do that. But I think what's really important is that we included them
Yeah.
in the journey. We also asked them how they felt about it. So it wasn't like, hey, this is what you're going to do, and, tough luck. We included their feedback and stuff like that. And so of the 25 agents, we only had one agent that didn't continue with us, and it really wasn't related to us making the move to Real. It was because of one of our referral programs that they just needed to find elsewhere. So for us, it was getting the buy-in from the agents, and then what we did too is we had our growth leader come in for the state, and the growth leader came in and did the presentation with everybody, and so there was kind of a rally around all of that stuff. And then what we did is we opened it up. So we use Slack for communication, and so we made a Slack channel for Real Brokerage, and we opened it up and we started dropping some information in there, and then we said, you guys ask questions, let's all start talking about it. And I mean, we got some people that got a little bit like, okay, well, why are we paying this fee now? Because at the end, there was no, now there's, especially when you're on a team, you're paying Real, and now you're paying
Yeah,
your
the double
splits,
commission is
right?
a little bit of a conversation.
Yeah,
People don't
right,
understand. Once you understand the value add behind it, then it makes sense.
right,
But in
right.
the beginning, you feel like you're like, well, am I paying two times? Well, not two times, but in their own mind, they're thinking I'm paying double commissions.
Right.
what does this mean?
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. And so, there was hurdles for us to get over, but like I said, I think grabbing the agents that really believe in you and trust you and follow you, they were typically the ones that would go in there and start answering those questions. They would go in and start taking ownership of like, no, but look at this. The other thing is you have to remind them of what they didn't have before and what they have now, whether they use it or not, right? Like not all agent is going to be out there attracting other agents to have rev share. That they don't have to, right? It's there. Likewise with stocks, they don't have to opt into the stocks, but it's there, right? And so what you do need to do though, and this is basically okay. So if you're if you're selling a product because you're a real estate agent, right? You're selling homes, you're basically doing the same thing with your agents. Is you have to now sell a product and you have to do it correctly and you have to do it in steps and you have to make sure that you have all the information to back it up. So to me, this was really no different than me going and trying to secure a listing or meeting a buyer or anything like that. You do it methodically and you have all your information and you listen to their concerns, you find out why, and then you solve their problems, right? So that's what we did with all of our agents. And if you can line all of that stuff up and have that ready to go and keep that in mind, you're going to be all right. And if you're going to be that team, you should be that team leader that's taking them and guiding them into this is why it's better. And here's why. And here's what you're going to have that you didn't have before. They're going to believe in you. They're going to support you and they're going to come with you with that journey. And so I think what I've seen, some team leads where this doesn't work for them is that it's about the team lead's decision. It's not listening to what everybody else needs, and it's basically like, here we go and this is what we're doing. Or that's why they don't do it, right? Because they have those fears of, well, what if the agents do this and they leave and whatever. Here's the thing, if some of the agents leave because it doesn't work, that's okay, right? That's okay too. You have to be okay with that because you're going to find more agents that are going to be believing in you. You can't have that fear. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, again, look at our growth. We went from a team of 35 to now a team of 90 because I had that mindset. If I had that mindset of fear and I didn't do it, we'd probably be 35 or less right now, for sure. And so you have to believe in it and you have to go for it.
Yeah. And it's convicting too, right? Because, the thing about real is once you see it, you hear this, once you see it, you can't unsee it, and when you're like convicted by how strongly you feel like this is the best thing for your team. And when you are vulnerable with your teammates, then they're going to be like, well, if they're
going to feel it
strongly about it, like, cause you're not the only one that's taken a hit. Like you as the team leader, like, I don't know. We've never done this before, and you don't really, you don't 100% know, but you know that it's, I told when I do my agent attraction meetings, I tell people it's kind of like when you find Jesus for the first time, you kind of like, well, it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Because what you were doing wasn't
working.
Right, and then you just like, you just feel like it pulls you towards like, it's got to be the right thing. Because I mean, especially when, when you explain how strongly and convicted you are by having, the most amazing culture within your team and the most amazing experience for your agents, they know that. And that's what draws them in. And that's why we call it agent attraction rather than recruiting, because we're not just trying to run out and we're not trying to just grab every single agent. We want agents to be attracted to what we have to offer. And when you are that passionate about what you have to offer, the agents will know that. And they're like, well, there's something special about Serri, so we need to like join her team.
Totally. You have to believe in the product. So like you said, the conviction and the passion, you have to believe in that product. And I truly did. And I still do, right? Like I wake up every single day and I'm so excited that we're a part of Real, that my agents are a part of Real, of that change that we made. And they know that.
Yeah.
Last year when we went to the One Real conference, which was amazing, I literally came back and we were on our Zoom, our team Zoom that I did, and I was like crying. Like I was like bawling, like it was the best thing ever, you guys. It was so good, right? Like call it Kool-Aid or whatever it is. But they truly felt, I mean, I wasn't like fake crying and
Yeah.
doing all that stuff, but they truly felt how passionate I felt for what we have done and where we are and where we're going. And another cool thing is by being aligned with somebody like Real 2, which you are, we're in almost all states now, almost, right? The sky is the limit for me now. Like I'm talking to an agent in another state that wants to open up the brand there, right? Like, okay, let's go do that. I personally have my broker's license in Utah too. But technically, I don't really need it at this point because guess what? I could go open up the brand there, and I can do all these things that on my little island would take so much more work for me. So for me, it's like a big playground now, right? Like sky's the limit, and I can go do all that stuff, and I can go provide all of our ops and our value and all the things that we're working on to so many other people, and I'm excited about that. Like I want to give back and have agents in other areas that can do all this stuff too. But yeah, my agents know and they believe just as strongly as I do. And if they don't, that's okay. There's a place for someone everywhere. But I, in my heart, know that Real is the best brokerage out there, without a doubt, for sure. Yeah,
100%.
and I'm old. I'm old. I'm getting older now. Been doing this for a while.
Yeah, no, I have to 100% agree with you. I'm super excited about the trajectory that Real is headed. I'm excited about our growth. I'm excited about getting into all 50 states.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I told you, I'm also the broker for Wyoming too. So I'm the state.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, so
Well,
I'm a team lead of my own team. I also run the state. And so yeah, so if anybody's watching this and you're interested in Wyoming, I'm your guy to call.
hit him up. Hit him up.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, being a broker is no fun for me, but hey, you take it
Honestly,
away.
I still get all the leverage. All I have to do is take the broker calls, really. So
Well, that's the thing. You're a broker under the company. When you're an independent, you're literally everything's just kind
oh
of
yeah,
piling onto
being
you with
everything to
stuff. So
everybody is not fun,
yeah,
honestly.
yeah,
And I don't know how some teams still do it without a backbone. Because I mean, the thing is the collaboration. You want to be able to like pick up the phone call and be like, listen, like like I have a regional broker that I can call and be like, hey, like
yeah,
what to do in this scenario, but
yeah,
anybody can call up anybody. I mean, you could call up Tamir right now and have a conversation.
yeah.
Like that's what's so awesome
I
about,
just message him on Instagram when I need something. That's
yeah.
usually the best way to reply. No, but you know what? That is true. Like as an independent coming over too, it's like, here's the thing, as a team leader, when you're also a broker, you're like focusing on that. And then you've got to focus on being a team leader. And then you've got to focus on, expansion or whatever it is that you're doing. Let that go. Like let you take that stuff over. Right. So when the agents have issues that are broker related, I'm like, call Jason. Give Jason a call. He's our broker here. He's amazing. Call him. Like, I'm going to focus on you guys and giving you guys a badass team. Like, that's my role, not over here dealing with the contracts and all that other stuff. Like, they want me to give them higher value as a team lead, not be the broker. So, I actually think you're giving your agents a service by letting that go and you're basically leveraging that off and so that you can do more and focus on them. And again, I account a lot of that back to our growth because I didn't have that stuff anymore, and now I can focus on all the other fun things that we're doing.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that's
Yeah,
one thing that's so great is, we get to focus on the things that really give us joy, and then we can just not have to deal with any of the things that make us frustrated, hate and wanting to get up in the morning, hate and want to do all this what I call non-income producing activities, when I can
yeah,
focus on the things that make me happy. And most team leaders are type A personality, so we want to just be the person and like, yes, if you need something, just call me, text me, because now I don't have to do anything I don't like to do. So,
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah,
it's
yes.
super, super exciting. And so lastly, a couple things. do you have any book recommendations for anyone that is listening to this, that just to get them fired up about what's inspired you to be as amazing as you are?
Atomic Habits is a great one. I'm sure a lot of people say that one. There's one that I'm on right now. It's The Power of One More. I don't know if you've heard of that
Oh yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah.
By Ed Milet.
Yes, Ed Milet. Yep.
Yeah. I'm actually in the middle of listening to that one. I do audiobooks while I walk. And that one to me is very fascinating. So that's kind of my latest and greatest one, but The Power of One More. So it's basically, one more thing, doing one more thing, kind of pushing yourself continually. Yeah.
Awesome. And then lastly, are you in production anymore?
Not really. I mean, every once in a while something may smack me in the face that's kind of a friend family, but no, I'm not really in production. I'm built for operations, so I'm pretty well known for our operational side of things. I also run a weekly Teams Gone Wild, is what we call it. And so every week we have team leaders come on and we talk about all the things about building teams and that kind of stuff. But where my heart and my passion is, obviously along with my agents, all my kids, all that stuff, but it's really to run a really great operational, I call it the house of bricks, because that's to me where the heartbeat starts, is your operations.
Ah.
And once you have your operations, you can scale and grow and provide. Yeah.
Well, maybe on our next episode we can unpack operations, because I know that teams struggle in the operations space.
Yes.
Team culture, accountability, systems, follow up. All the mechanics behind like actually running a successful team.
Yeah.
Yeah, because most
Yeah.
teams are not profitable. And
Right.
so just to kind of unpack that would be awesome. So maybe in a couple months we can have that
Future
conversation.
episodes. That
Yes.
sounds great.
So stay tuned for more. All right. Well, awesome. If people want to know what's going on with you out in California, how can they get a hold of you?
Instagram is my lifeline. So it's the real Serri. So it's THE.real, REAL. And Serri is spelled SERRI. So it's spelled different than what you think of with Apple, but the real Serri on Instagram, and you guys can find me there.
Awesome. And if you guys want to know what's going on with me up in Wyoming, you can just call me 307-772-1184. Text the word real, and I would love to have a conversation to see if real's a good fit for you. And
Yeah.
that will conclude another episode of Talking Real with Real Teams. Catch you guys next time. Peace. You made it to the end of this video. If you'd like to see more of what's going on our channel, you can watch that video, you can watch that video, or you can subscribe. Catch you next time. Peace.